So today's 2-Minute Tuesday is all about law and jurisdiction. If you have never given these two provisions much thought, today is going to change all that. So they're the provisions that are usually at the very end of the agreement in that small print that you probably don't bother reading most of the time, but they are vitally important if you think you might ever need to enforce your contract. So law, first off, let's start with the easy one, is the applicable law that will be used in the interpretation of the contract. That matters because, as you can imagine, one sentence read in accordance with English law could have a completely different meaning if you read it in accordance with German law or Dutch law or Chinese law. So it's really important to know which set of rules we're going to use to interpret our contract. That's what the applicable law decides for us. The second of these two, jurisdiction, says where any disputes related to this contract can be heard. So it defines the courts that have jurisdiction to make decisions about this particular contract. So it could be the courts of England, it could be the courts of England and Wales, the courts of Scotland, France, Abu Dhabi, wherever. You choose the place where you believe is most appropriate for any disputes to be heard. Now, you might think law and jurisdiction have to go hand in hand. So if you've got English law, you must have the jurisdiction of the English courts. But that's not necessarily the case. It's certainly the cheapest and the easiest to manage, but it doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes, if the parties are in different countries, they might agree to, say, English law, but the jurisdiction of the German courts. Or, as we did once with a client, the courts of Belarus was something that they wanted to have with English law. It's doable, it can be expensive and fiddly, but it can be a way of getting two parties who are opposite ends of the negotiation spectrum to somewhere a little bit more sensible. You want to make sure that whatever jurisdiction is chosen, you're going to get a fair hearing, so it's in a place where you trust their judicial system to treat you fairly, and that in the event that a court decides in your favour, you're going to be able to enforce that judgment in the home country of your counterparty. Because there's no point in having the court say, yes, you're right, have all these lovely damages, if they've got absolutely no power to enforce that against the other party because they're in a different country. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any more questions about law and jurisdiction, if there's a particular issue that you're wrestling with in regard to which is the best law for my deal or what's an appropriate jurisdiction, then please do pop it in the comments below or get in touch with me in the usual way. Thanks for watching.